Hi, dear athletes and coaches. Welcome to our playground. Today, we will be speaking about how to manage our arousal levels. That means how to manage the anxiety, worry that may happen before or during our athletic or sports performance. So, let's see what are the ways that we have to tackle our anxiety and worry that happens during a competition. So, before diving into the ways to manage the anxiety, we have to first understand what's anxiety and the types of anxiety that may happen during an athletic career. The anxiety can be classified into two types. The first one is mental anxiety and the second one is physical anxiety. The mental anxiety is in the cognitive side. That means we might be thinking or anticipating our upcoming performance, the threats that we may perceive from other players, the difficulty level that we perceive from the opponent team because of our experience with them in previous matches or by we seeing their performance in TV or through other mediums. So we might be apprehensive, we might be thinking so much about the match, we might be worrying so much what will happen, how I could able to perform, how I could able to defend that player. So these will all make you mentally anxious. And the next type of anxiety is physical anxiety. This you might have well aware. This is also called somatic anxiety. This is mainly happens because our interpretation of whatever we feel on our body. It might be thoda shivering, and it might be the butterflies that happens on your stomach and other bodily sensations that make yourself understand that you are getting more aroused, you are getting more worried, and by interpreting this bodily sensation you even more going to get worried and anxious. And when classifying or differentiating these two types of anxiety, one thing to note that the mental anxiety mostly happens just before the match and the training periods. And the physical anxiety also happens before the match. But when the match starts, the physical anxiety vanishes. Because when you are get involved in the play time, you don't have the time to think about what is going on your body. You will be so focused on the game so that you won't be having any time to think and worry about what happening on your body as sensations. So the physical anxiety once evaporates when the match starts, and the mental anxiety lingers with you in the training period, practice time, and the before match period. So I hope that you all got what is anxiety during a match performance and how to differentiate the mental and physical anxiety. So basically this anxiety is arousal. So the arousal can happen in a mental as well as physical level. So the arousal is needed. The arousal is needed for showcasing our performance because we need some sort of a motivation, some sort of a charged up moment for exerting our performance during a play. And the optimal level of this arousal that we can call as psyched up. And when this arousal level goes too much high, then it culminates into anxiety and it becomes very less arousal, then we are demotivated and not charged up or psyched up for the optimal performance that we can showcase on the field. And when we speaking about the arousal, you have to understand that there is no one particular single arousal level for all players or all games. It will be different for every players and as well as for different games according to the requirements and the person's underlying personality trait or the kind of arousal level he or she has. So the arousal level, the ideal arousal level that is psyched up will be different for each individual players. One person might be needing this sort of an arousal level, the other person might be needing this sort of an arousal level to showcase the same sort of a performance during the play time. And the right level of arousal is called as, or it can be kind of put into the word of in the ideal zone. And the players might be on ideal zone, and when they kind of come down or go up in the level of arousal, then the performance, you can understand, the performance will drop substantially. And for getting back to on the performance level, they need a major calm down. Without that major calm down, they cannot regain their calmness and composure that needed to showcase their right and optimal performance. So whenever you become so aroused, that means you become so anxious during a match performance, your body signals, your body sensations and the butterflies, the shivering or the kind of other sensation will be so high. So in that time period, you need a major calm down. Then only you could able to regain your control on the match and the performance that you have to show over there. And one thing to note that when the athlete focus too much on the performance, too much about the consequence, what happens on the match, he or she focusing too much on the performance side, this makes the arousal levels to go higher. So what happens when arousal levels goes higher, the performance gradually decreases. So the player should not have a mindset that is too focused, too perfectionist or too concerned about the result of the match. That's the way to maintain the arousal level at the optimal level. So I hope you all might have got a fair understanding about the arousal, and when the arousal level gets higher you become so anxious, and what is the mental anxiety and physical anxiety are. So let us straightly dive into the ways to tackle the increased as well as the decrease in arousal levels during or before the match. So the arousal happens in two ways, mental as well as physical. And the for physical arousal, you need physical approaches to manage the arousals, as well as the mental arousal also needs mental ways to tackle or decrease the arousal levels. This crossover also happens, like the mental technique that you use to manage your arousal also helps to decrease or increase your arousals in the physical sphere. When it comes to managing the arousal levels, the understanding or carefully reading the body signals is very necessary. Likewise, when we face a problem in life, understanding it is pertinent to solve that problem. Likewise, in every exam, you have to read the problem and understand it. Then only you could able to think about and go for solving that problem. So in the same way, you have to read the signals in your body. You have to understand which sort of an arousal level you are presently in. So how to do that? You can do this by just pause for a moment and pay attention to your body. What's happening on your body? How you are perceiving the sensations in your body? Is butterflies happening on your body? Is your hand shivering? And try to understand the sensations and the signals that your body emitting, as well as pay attention to your mind. What are the thoughts going on in your mind? Calmly observe this. Through this way you can understand which arousal level you are presently in. So now you might have understood your arousal levels, mental arousal levels that happening presently. The mental arousal happens due to three factors. It might be the first one. The first one is your perception about the demands of the situation. The second one is coping with the demands of the situation. And the third one is what will be the consequence if you could not able to cope with the demands of the situation. So by analyzing this, you will become more anxious so that your arousal levels might be going up. So what we can to maintain the optimal arousal over here? The first thing you can do is you can change your perspective. You can change the perspective by thinking the situation more positively, analyzing your demands in a more positive focus. Like you can practice the positive thinking in a daily basis. We already discussed about the positive self-talk during our confidence training sessions. So you can go back to that sessions and try to know how to create the positive thinking in your mind. So after you creating or after you are structuring your thinking into positive ways, you can repeat these positive thinkings different times in a day, like during your practice time, when you are resting, when you are about to sleep. These all times you can repeat the positive thoughts in your mind so that it will slowly become part of your unconscious mind. When negativity goes, the positivity comes, you will become confident and your arousal level will be at a controllable and psych level. The other technique you can use is changing your negative thinking to positive, that we have already discussed in our confidence training series sessions. You can go back and visit to know how to change your negative thinking to positive thinking. So there are some sort of structures and examples given on our previous sessions. So please go back to that session and try to learn how to change your negative thinking to positive thinking. The third way to manage the arousal level is keep the things in perspective. Yeah, you can say yourself that even if I couldn't able to score the goals which I wished, the world is not going to end. My dog will still come and lick my face tomorrow. My dog is not going to disappoint. My family is not going to disappoint. It's not the end of the world after all. You can even say it was just a match. No one got killed. Nothing happened actually. Just a match that someone has to win, someone has to fail. This time, this was our turn. Next time we will improve. So this is not going to end of the world. So chill, calm down. Let's focus what we can do for now and in future. So I hope you might have created enough perspective checking examples for yourself. The other technique to manage the mental anxiety is imagery. You can imagine your past good performance, as well as you can also imagine your future successes by your performance. The past successes you might be you helped your team to succeed on that match by scoring this much number of goals, or you won on that game with that best player by 2-1 set in that match. And you can imagine your past performance so that you feel good by yourself, by being yourself and your performance. So your arousal levels will automatically come down. The another thing is that you can imagine that you are succeeding in the coming match. You are winning. You people are lifting the trophy. You people are becoming the favorites of the spectators. You are performing at your best and you all are becoming so happy about your performance. And the dignitaries are awarding you the trophy. You are scoring a 6. You are putting the ball into goal. So imagine those success moments. It will increase your confidence as well as decrease your increased arousal levels. That is your anxiety. So try to do this, and you can do this even just before the match. One easy and calm place you can do this is toilet. Yeah, in the dressing rooms there will be toilets, washrooms available. Go to there will be no one to disturb you. There will be no paparazzis. There will be no other players to talk with you and distract you. So sit there calmly and think about your past successes as well as you are going to win on the coming match. It will bring down your arousal levels to an optimal level and you could able to ace on the match. All the best guys, give it your best. So we will meet for our next session. So thanks for listening. If you like this video, give it as a like for it reach to many more athletes like you. Share it with your friends, and if you like our content, subscribe to our channel to get more content like this. I hope it was an enlightening and productive session for you all. Meet you at our next anxiety management session. Till then, goodbye. Ciao.